Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Salt and Light Hour. I'm Deacon Pedro. Today, we're going to be going into the Salt and Light closet and pulling out some of our favorite conversations from the winter and spring of 2024. First off, we speak with author Carissa Douglas. She's the author of the young adult series, The Little Douglings. She will tell us about the third and fourth novels, Cryptic Crusader and Serpent in the Scabby. After that, we reconnect with singer-songwriter Michael James Mette and his wife Michelle, who tell us about a new missionary opportunity. In our second half hour, we speak with Camille Pauley of Healing the Culture, who tells us about a new pro-life video resource for those in the Gen-Z generation, Gen-Zers. It's called Forbidden Discussions. And at the end of the program, we reconnect with Canadian singer-songwriters and married couple Jesse and Kathleen Leblanc, who are also known as Found Together. We begin now with The Little Douglings. Carissa Douglas and her husband Patrick have 15 children, and as the children were growing up, in order to help them learn about the faith, Carissa began telling them and writing stories. This has evolved into The Little Douglings, a series of adventure books based on the children. Last time Carissa was here on the show, she told us about her young adult novels. Some of the children are now adolescents. She's written 3. Mystic Informant, about the battle of good and evil, featuring the children's adventures with St. Padre Pio. Lair of Illusion, which tells an adventure with the 6 eldest kids, and St. John Henry Newman. The third book, Cryptic Crusade, is about their adventures with St. Teresa of Avila. And now the fourth book is out, Serpent in the Scabby. To tell us more, I am now joined by Carissa Douglas. Carissa, it's so good to see you. Welcome back to the Salt and Light Hour.
Good to be here.
So, we got 2 books to talk about. Maybe you can give us the summary of the newest one, Serpent in the Scabby.
Okay, so Serpent in the Scabby was just released January of this year. And it's a pretty exciting journey because it actually takes place in Rome at the Vatican.
I love it.
And it's actually, most of the adventure takes place underneath in the necropolis, the city of the dead, amongst the tombs and the remains. It's kind of different from the other books in the sense that it gives a bit more a sense of archaeology and the hunt for a lost treasure. It encompasses a lot of church history. And the saint that's entrusted to them is a former pope, Pope John Paul II.
Oh, I love it. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Not guns.
Okay, so just to make sure that the listeners are on here. So the stories are obviously fiction, and there's always a mystical element to them. But these are your children that you're.
That's right. And there's a lot of them.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. At least the 14. I don't know.
Yeah.
This one, do you focus more on the older ones?
14, but we usually just focus on the older ones because they're the ones that don't need parental supervision, so they can go off on adventures.
Exactly. No, and I liked so Cryptic Crusade, which was the previous one. We also featured the parents, and there were some aunties, and I wondered if some of these characters were also based on real people or actually real people.
They are, and thankfully, I think my aunts know that they're involved in the stories. They're a combination of aunts and grandparents and some quirky people I've met in real life. And some people assume that the characters are absolute caricatures or that they're just blown. But honestly, if they met my family, they probably start to second guess that assumption.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so helpful when you're a writer. So presumably, I mean, you started writing stories to teach some things to your children, and then I think the stories started to take a life on their own.
That's right.
Last time you told us that your children, especially the older ones now, are actually helping you write the stories. Is that still your process?
It is. They definitely give their input because, it's dealing with them. So sometimes I'll write something that they said and they're like, oh, don't write that. I said that. And
yeah.
So
Okay.
Change it up. So sometimes it's a bit of a challenge actually, because I can't write everything I want to, but at the same time, they're avid readers. They really love books. And so I take their criticism to heart because they they know good stuff. And so when I get their stamp of approval, I know that it's going to be some good reading for people. And they also are really good at even along the way, because when I write, I'm a strange writer in the sense that I don't always know exactly where I'm going. And so when I'm on the adventure with them, so I'll read the chapters as I write them. And sometimes it's interesting to see their reactions, and the reactions that I gauge sometimes affect where I take the next step, or what direction I go. And these books are interesting, as you said, because there's parallel dimensions kind of throughout the story. There's the regular world, I guess the everyday world, but then they're given a mission by God, and they're assigned a saint to help them with a particular mission. But usually that saint is able to take them into almost like a secondary dimension that's might be in this world or might not be, but it gives a spiritual truth, or it displays spiritual truths in a tangible way. So when we're told, like, when you do this, like you pray the rosary, you're battling, you're battling demons, you're doing this, but actually the children are able to see the demons that they're battling. They're able to see how powerful that their prayers are, or even some of the little sacrifices they make around the house. Like, how those actually become weapons that they use to fight these demons or this dark side. And it's a lot of fun too, because even if they're with a saint who possesses certain even mystical gifts that they were given on earth, the children are able to use those same gifts. And sometimes even it's like gifts of the spirit or fruits of the spirit, and they're physical, tangible items that show them a means by which they can use that in battle. So it's very interesting.
It is very interesting. And I wanted to ask, so with Lair, I think it was Lair of Illusion, your second book, that it was very clear that it was, as the gifts of the spirit. With Cryptic Crusade, with Saint Teresa of Avila, she also gives them gifts. So do you really look into the life of the saint and try to glean sort of like what gifts or I don't know. I don't even know where you would start. Tell us a little bit about that process.
I do try to get to know the saint first before going on the journey with them. And so in the case of Saint Teresa of Avila, she had particular visions or even images given to her, real visions. She was also able to levitate, because she gets so caught up in the magnitude of Christ, especially in the Eucharist. She would oftentimes be floating up, and she had some of the nuns sit on her. She would ask them
to hold her down,
because she didn't want people to be staring at her. And she was funny because she was so powerful in that even she had her dear friend was St. John of the Cross, and he was a bit more stern. And so he would oftentimes chastise her. And in the book, actually, I captured this, a moment of her reminiscing about, floating up and her St. John of the Cross basically telling her, like, okay, I'm going to give you less of the host. I'll give you a portion of it. And she's going to laugh at him as though a smaller portion would make a difference. With her, I just read about her life. So there were certain just powerful things she was shown. Holy water was shown to be really powerful. But then she also had just these incredible almost metaphors, but they would come in physical ways. So she'd be given like a cross, and the cross would be endowed with jewels, and those jewels symbolize things. So I used a lot of those encounters. Plus her major work was the interior castle. And so that's the place where the children are brought to. So it's interesting with that book, because a lot of her metaphors and a lot of her experiences were able to come to reality, become an actual place to explore and to learn things.
Yeah. Now with Serpent in the Scabion, I haven't read this one yet, but because St. John Paul II, he was alive. I remember him. He was alive, 20 years ago. So did that also make the story a little different in that it was kind of more contemporary?
It was, in the sense that I've always felt a special connection to him, because actually my husband and I, we really call ourselves his couple, or a JV2 couple, because we met, actually, it was a retreat preparing for World Youth Day in Toronto a year before he came. Wonderful. So that's where we met, and it was incredible because it was very quick, and we felt God really pulling us together tightly, so much so that by the time we went to World Youth Day a year later, we were married and expecting our first child.
Oh my gosh.
So we're just like, this man.
Yes, of course.
huge impact. And so I kind of play with that a little bit, where the kids are like, like we're here because of you. Like, you had
that's wonderful.
So there is something really intimate and beautiful about that. But also, for the inspiration for this book, we went to the World Meeting of Families last year, I think. And we were delegates for Canada, and it was a huge honor. And I was sitting up close to the big pillars in front of St. Peter's, and I'm looking at the altar where like everything was close proximity. It was so beautiful, and mass is going on. And of course, I kind of gave into my horrible tendency of daydreaming, which I think probably comes with being a writer. I think I come by it honestly. So I start like daydreaming, and I didn't mean to, but I turn and I'm looking at these giant pillars, and all of a sudden in my mind, I see John Paul II peeking out from behind the column.
Oh, hilarious.
And it's so bad. Yeah. I really do try to focus, but this is what happened.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he opened a panel on the column, and he kind of motioned to me to come, and I could see spiral staircases embedded in the column. And I was like, oh, you want me to come in? Okay. So that was actually what started me realizing that was the next saint, and that was the next story.
I love it. Okay, say no more, because we need to get the book.
I know.
I love this. Okay, but quickly then, are you already working on the next one? Is there going to be a number 5?
I actually right now just am doing the finishing touches on a baby board book.
Okay.
And I feel really strongly about this one. It's actually one of my favorite books, even though it's a toddler book. It's available if your audience wants a sneak peek on that one. What I have so far is actually available. If you go to my website, which is littledouglings.com, there is one of the titles is Baby Douglings. And if you click on it, you can actually read the book. I've given the book online just for people to check out, because currently SLHour isn't able to print board books. But I felt such a love for this book that I wanted to still let people access it early on before I find
that's good to know. Okay.
The right publishing or printing.
Yeah.
And honestly, my toddlers are addicted to it. They come up on my lap, and they say Mother Mary's Heart, and that's the title, Mother Mary's Heart.
Love it.
So good. If you want to check that out, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay, good. So littledouglings.com. That's good, because don't want to focus too much on those young adults or those young teenagers or those teenagers. Don't forget about the little ones, the baby Douglings. And I know that there's a new one. There's one, a very, very young one.
A 2-month-old Leo.
2-month-old Leo. Oh, good Pope name right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Carissa, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about what you do today and about your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carissa Douglas is the author of the Little Douglings book series. Her latest book is Serpent in the Scavvy, published by Scepter Publishers. You can find out more and purchase the books at littledouglings.com. That's also where you can find the board books that Carissa was talking about for the little ones. Here now is Michael James Mette with a song that is actually great to pray in front of the Blessed Sacrament, Jesus' Prayer, from his album Arts and Humanity.
Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. You know my heart, you've seen the shame, but still you love me, oh just the same, you're the same. Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Jesus Christ, Son of God,
We're listening to Michael James Mette with Jesus Prayer from his album Arts and Humanity. Michael James Mette has been on this program several times. We first met him in 2013, and since then, we've heard all about his adventures touring around the United States with his family, who are all now old enough to play with him, calling themselves MJM7. The group is now opening up their family band for missionaries, offering the opportunity for 4 missionaries to train with the family for a week and then join them for a 4-week tour covering the eastern United States. And so to tell us more, I am now joined by Michael James and Michelle Mette. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to the Salt and Light Hour.
Hello, hello.
I know.
Hello.
It's good
Glad
to
be
see you
here.
Yeah, it's good to be with both of you.
Yeah.
So just quickly, I do want to talk about the whole missionary Catholic family band missionary adventure experience thing. But tell me a little bit about, because Michael, we haven't spoken in a while, and I know that we spoke when Exile came out, and I know that was a difficult time for you guys. Have you been doing some more music? Is there any new music coming out?
Or I've got touring? A project on the Psalms that I've been working on,
right?
And it's just taken a little bit longer to birth. You know what I'm saying? It's just trying to let it percolate. But we've been active touring.
Yes,
that's been like really the primary. Like as much as I love the recorded music and I love sharing that, like getting to play with people one-on-one, getting to pray with people one-on-one, like that's at the heart of who I am as an artist. And so a lot of my artistic effort has gone into creating the greatest like live experience we can. So we redid our live show with new lights, with new moments, with new testimonies to really like make that like the maximum impact that you can in about 75 minutes.
Yeah, and you're now touring, the whole family tours. You're playing with all the kids.
So we have I have 3 kids that are in the band right now. So my oldest 2 daughters, Gabriella and Trinity, were in the band. They retired out, and
they're in
college.
Oh, so my God! No, they're not.
She's
that
going
old.
to the she's applying for the University of Illinois to study education. Trinity is on the West Coast in San Diego at John Paul Catholic University.
Oh, wonderful.
Studying new evangelization there. So Charity, who you met in Panama, she's the drummer. She's going to, this is her last year though. She's like, this is my last year because she's going to graduate high school this year.
Oh my gosh.
And is talking about going into the military. And then we have Cecilia and MJ.
Yes.
So there's 4 of us that are in the band right now. And Truman, who's 9 years old, he's been practicing drums. So he might come in when Charity leaves. So we're kind of seeing where his gifts lie and seeing if that's his path.
Okay, so change is happening as children grow and go on to new adventures. So Michelle, because you don't sing or perform with the band, are you like the boss? You're the band manager?
I wouldn't quite say that, but I will say I do have a business degree, and Michael has a theology degree.
Yes.
And so it is a complementary relationship. Things like taxes, nonprofit compliance, those go on my plate, and things like creating beauty, brainstorming ideas, those go on Michael's plate. Leading people
closer to Christ.
Well,
that's okay. Business can help people get closer to Christ too, right? Right, Michelle? So, okay, are you still touring with the big bus, the big van, the
So we've transitioned about 4 years ago. We bought this house that has a recording studio, as you can see. Yeah. And this is like our base of operations now.
Okay.
And so we as you're right, we lived in an Airstream for 2.5 years, all of us together. And then we upgraded. We bought a tour bus. We lived in a tour bus for 2.5 years.
It's crazy.
And
I love it.
And we have a daughter that's special needs. And so she needs a little bit more care. And that's one of the reasons her name's Fidelity. We call this Fidelity Studios.
Oh, lovely.
So one of the reasons we bought this home base was to have a place of stability for her. But also, to be honest, like right over here is our rehearsal room that we're able to like dream up these new live experiences with lights and stuff like that we're able to take on the road. I like to say that it's like the U2 experience, only instead of being in a stadium, we're in a parish hall, whatever we can bring into a parish hall, that's what we try to do.
Yeah. And
so, but this has been a great base of operations for us to use that as ministry. And we still we've been playing 30, 40. Before COVID, we were playing 70 concerts a year.
Yeah.
Last year we played 40, and I think our goal is to be up to 50 this year. We're still trying to kind of get back up to speed after COVID. But
okay, so tell me about this missionary adventure idea. How did that come up?
So we've just had awesome experiences all over the United States. We've been to 44 of the 50 states with me and my kids. It's been a family band. And I feel a little bit guilty that we have all of these awesome experiences. And I want to share that with other people outside of our family. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I try to do is always to look at people's gifts and talents and say, like, how can we use those to serve the church? So the band was very different when Gabriella and Trinity were in the band, because they had a certain gifts and talents. And now it's kind of evolved to something else. And so our hope is that this summer we'll have missionaries that'll come. We already have 5 applicants, literally from sea to shining sea. Nice. Our goal is to have 2 guys and 2 girls that will join the 4 band members. So there'll be 8 of us that'll travel, and we'll come here and we'll have a week's worth of training. We'll look and say, what are the gifts we have? And how can we use those to serve the church? And then we'll have a 4-week tour booked that will go to Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, then down the Eastern Seaboard, DC. And so you get a chance to see the country, to serve the Lord, to play praise and worship music, and to share your story. Like, the 2 kind of building blocks that we have in our live show, they're very simple, but they're very powerful. And it's music and stories. Yeah. And when you combine the 2, it's more than just like, oh, that's a nice song or that's a cool story. But when you're able to combine testimony and praise music, man, it's thermonuclear, dude. It's like legit.
Yeah, of course.
And so some of the applicants that we have for the missionary program, they don't even play instruments, and that's okay, because we need people to play instruments, but we also need people who just love the Lord or love praying with people, or can carry gear, or can sell merchandise, and all of those things are an important part of the ministry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sharing testimonies and like you said, praying with people, that's all part of I would call it a show, but it's not really a show. You're doing it's ministry. So logistically, then, are these 4 presumably young adults? You're not looking for seniors.
The applicants that we've had so far have been like 20 to 24, I believe. So
exactly.
So kind of in that gap year, maybe they've gone through a couple of them are finishing up college. One is our second year in college, and so, but. Just we're looking for people that would love to serve the Lord. And it's exciting to me to think that somebody could be listening right now. Yeah. And they're like, man, this sounds awesome. Like, I want to go check out, the United States. I want to play in rock shows. I want to, love the Lord. And so that's why we have the application up on our website.
But it does finish, the 5 weeks finishes right before college starts. So it is set up to where
it's set up for the summer
easy for young adults to come in and take advantage of the opportunity.
Okay. And since you're the business manager, I'm going to ask you all the logistic questions. So, because I can hear, people thinking, so where do we sleep? Or do we have to stay in the same house with the family? Do we stay in hotels? Do I have to pay for my own flight to get to? How does that work, Michelle?
So it is a volunteer position, so it's an unpaid position, but we do take care of the lodging and the food and the travel once you get here. Okay. It will be more family style, so we stay a lot now in host families. Maybe that you have a family who's an empty nester, but their house is set up with guest rooms, and the idea is that if we have 2 male missionaries and 2 females, the 2 males would be roommates, and the 2 females staying in people's homes.
Actually, we have a couple of retreat centers that we're staying in that will have a little bit more private accommodation.
Okay, so no more.
We're looking at about 9 concerts over the 5 weeks, and so some days would be off days to sightsee. Some days would be like rehearsal days. Some would be renewal days where we might just concentrate on spiritual renewal. So all that's combined in there, but the food, the lodging, all that is kind of more family style in host families, retreat centers, and that sort of thing. Right,
exactly. So as long as they get themselves to your home,
right,
that's the commitment, and then they will have this experience where they will have no expenses, but an awesome experience. So it's kind of like a Net Ministries kind of plan. Okay, cool. So I hope that someone's listening. And that this will be, or someone who knows someone that maybe this is the kind of experience that they would like. Okay, so people that they would have to travel to Illinois to
the nearest airport. We would come get
you
from
the pick them up,
St. Louis or Indianapolis.
Good. Yeah, and they don't have to be American. If they're Canadians, they can also participate, right? So there's no issue there because you're not getting paid. So all the information is on the website, and we're going to leave all that on our site. But it's mjm7.band. Anything else that you think that people need to know? Because I think it's pretty straightforward right now, at least in my head.
Yeah, the commitment is 1 week of training and 4 weeks on the road. And so I believe it's July 7th through
Okay, yeah, dates.
August 11th, if I remember right.
Right.
Or abouts there. And if you're interested, the application's on our website, mjm7.band/apply. There's an online application, and we'll schedule a time that we'll just do a video interview and see what your gifts are and see if it's a good fit.
Love it. So they don't need to be musicians or singers, although they can be.
Right.
They just have to have a passion for ministry and evangelization, and you don't have to have experience because you can have a little bit of formation before you start. And it's what a great experience.
Yeah.
Super. Thank you. This is awesome. I hope it goes well, because if it does, I'm sure you're going to do it again next summer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're just getting started, baby.
Absolutely.
We call this year the pilot program.
Okay. Okay.
Come.
And the girls that are in college, are they joining you for the tour over the summer, or they're like off?
Well,
completely?
Trinity's out in California, so she's kind of doing her own thing.
Her college is year round.
Okay. So she's not coming
She doesn't
home.
get a break, right?
Okay. That's all right. She's having her own adventures.
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe they're in college. That's crazy. Anyway, Michael and Michelle, so good to talk to you guys. Thank you for sharing this.
Absolutely.
And I hope that you get lots more applications.
Thanks so much, Deacon.
God bless.
Go with God.
You can learn all about Michael James Mette and MJM7 and this opportunity for family band missionaries at their website, as I said, mjm7.band. If you missed any part of this conversation or you want to listen to it again, just head on to our website, slmedia.org. You can also listen to this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. So here now to take us out is Michael James Mette with Satisfied from his album Between the Lines. We're listening to Michael James Mette with Satisfied from his album Between the Lines on this special summer edition of the Salt and Light Hour. I'm Deacon Pedro. Check out our website at slmedia.org. Welcome to the Salt and Light Hour Part 2. I'm Deacon Pedro. Healing the Culture has a very unique philosophical approach to pro-life education. You may remember their video series for children, Philo and Sophie. It teaches children to understand pro-life principles as they learn to seek the good of others above the good of self, and really, that's how we build a culture that values and protects all human persons, from conception to natural death. Their latest offering, through their video resource platform Respect Life University, is Forbidden Discussions, aimed at the Gen Z age group, which is about 16 to 26-year-olds. To tell us more, I am now joined by the president and CEO of Healing the Culture, Camille. Pauley. Camille, welcome back to the Salt and Light Hour. It's good to see you.
Hi, Deacon Pedro. It's good to see you too. Thanks for having me back.
It's always exciting to hear what you guys are up to. And I want to hear about this new series, Forbidden Discussions, but tell us a little bit before that, a little bit about Respect Life University, because I don't think we've actually spoken about that on this show.
No, we haven't. Respect Life University is Healing the Culture's web-based video platform for all of our free videos. And there's a ton of stuff up there. There's curriculum materials for high school kids. There's animated stuff for high school and college. We have a program called Philo and Sophie that you and I talked about before for littles.
Yes.
It's free, and it's like kind of like VeggieTale kind of stuff where you're learning morality and virtue and goodness and pro-life, but it's kind of like Sesame Street where it's fun and there's songs and puppets. So that's what Respect Life University does. It's a platform where parents, teachers, kids, adults can get pro-life content in video format in all kinds of different lengths. Some are 60 seconds, some are feature length.
That was because I was going to ask that. So is it for anyone? So teachers can access it, but you don't have to be a teacher to access it.
No.
And it's available on your website, healingtheculture.org.
Right.
So then one of the offerings is this new series called Forbidden Discussions. Tell us about that. What is it?
Yeah, it's kind of provocative. We want to make sure we're reaching every kind of audience, people who are already pro-life, people who think they're pro-life but not sure, and people who are not pro-life.
Okay.
So this series is aimed at Gen Z. And particularly between maybe like the 17 and 24-year-old range.
Okay.
And kids who are not necessarily pro-life. In fact, mostly trying to reach kids who are not pro-life, not sure where they stand, maybe even pro-choice, but willing to listen. And so we studied this audience a lot to understand what are the issues they care the most about that makes them be pro-choice or makes them persuaded by pro-choice.
Okay.
How do they listen to arguments when they're listening to arguments on the other side of issues they care about? How do they listen? What makes them open their ears? And then in what way and what delivery do we, in what way do we articulate those issues that best resonates with them? And so we found that we needed to be online on an online platform for these kids. And we needed to use a debate methodology that showed them how to debate, because kids today, Gen Z, don't know how to debate. They don't even think.
No, they don't know how to communicate. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't know, not all Gen Zers, but the vast majority. They don't even know, they don't believe that debate is legitimate. They're being taught that there's one side, here's what the side is. If people don't agree with this, they're evil, and you shut them out and block them out and cancel them. So what we did is we came up with a title, Forbidden Discussions, because if you have discussions about pro-life online, you're canceled, right? So they're so that we would be provocative with these kids, and they would find us online and start listening and watching to these debates. And we, in a way, kind of subtly, we teach them how to debate. So we have a male and a female, and they switch sides. So in one of the episodes, the woman would be pro-life and the male is pro-choice. And in the other episode, they switch. She's pro-choice and he's pro-life. So that shows what it's intended to do is help these Gen Z kids understand, if you really want to understand truth, you have to be willing to look at both sides and consider the arguments and give way where somebody has a good argument. And they do that. Sometimes the pro-choice makes a good point and she has to give way to it. But then she comes around a different way. And so it's a way to really help lay out the pro-life arguments to kids who aren't taught to question anymore. And this time not taught to question because what they're being taught is error, and our opponents don't want them to hear the truth because it's very persuasive. So we've been very successful.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So you have two young hosts. You said a male and a female, and they argue or they debate.
Yes.
Tell us how they do it, and then tell us some of the topics that you've chosen to highlight.
So it's partly scripted, but they get a topic. And they see the topic when they arrive, and then they're told whether they're pro-life or pro-choice. And so they flip back and forth. And like I said, it's partly scripted because we wanted to make sure they covered the issues that we want.
Yes.
And we want them to say certain things and make certain arguments. But it's 3 minutes long. So it's kind of like a speed debate where they get out the best stuff. And the topics that we covered, interestingly, kids are still debating, is this a human being or not? And which is wonderful. It's wonderful that they still care about whether or not this is a human being, because some of the studies are showing that kids don't even care anymore. That if it's a person, not a person, we don't care. We want to do what we want to do.
Right.
But a lot of Gen Zers do still care. So we covered that topic. Is it a human being? Is it a person? Does it have any moral worth and legal protectability? But we also covered issues for kids who don't care whether it's a human being or not. What's really making you happy? Is this really noble? Is abortion courageous? Is it leading you to a life of prosperity and goodness and happiness and truth and all the things you seek. And it gets very, high level, but in a way that modern kids can relate to. So we love this series. Forbidden Discussions has been on, we've launched it about a month, maybe a couple months ago.
Okay.
And we have tens of thousands of views and great comments from kids who are watching it who are not necessarily pro-life.
That's wonderful. So how many, so you said they're 3 minutes long. How many are there?
There's 5 episodes right now.
Okay.
That cover the biggest issues. And then by the end of this year, we'll put out another 5 episodes, and we'll just keep putting them out every year as long as we seek feedback from the Gen Z kids who are watching it. What kind of topics do you want to hear?
Okay.
And do more. And as long as we keep getting more questions from these kids, we'll keep putting them out.
Right. And so then right now, the only place where people can access these videos is on the websites through the Respect Life University, or are you putting them on social media, or?
They can get them on YouTube too.
Okay.
If your listeners go to our YouTube channel, Healing the Culture on YouTube, they can find or just type Forbidden Discussions.
Yeah.
On YouTube, they'll get the whole series for free on YouTube. The benefit to going to our website, healingtheculture.org, is that you'll get all of our
exactly. They get to see everything else that's there.
You'll get them packaged the way you need them, and you get all of the extra materials too for free. So like the Kid Show comes with teacher tools and parent tools and games and activities and coloring pages and all that kind of fun stuff.
There's great stuff on this website and tons of wonderful resources. I'm always excited, as I said, about what you guys are doing. So what's next? Are you going to obviously going to continue with more of these?
We will continue it. Deacon Pedro, this Gen Z is really important to us. These kids are very confused. The studies are all showing that these Gen Z kids, more than any other generation, are more confused about sexuality, more confused about marriage, relationships, gender. They're even more confused about reality than any other kid since we've been studying kids' thoughts on issues like that, on moral issues. They don't even know, they're even starting to question reality. What is reality? Yeah. Is a human being even a thing, right? Or can I define myself however I want to be? So now you have Gen Zers who are starting to say, well, I'm not a person, I'm not a human, I'm a thought, right? So now there's this whole movement towards I'm a thought in a head of some being, some other being, or I'm an animal, right? I'm a fluffy. I'm a furry. They call them furries sometimes. So there's this big confusion about who we are and what we are, and they're lost. They're very, very lost age. So our goal right now is really hitting that Gen Z group, but we'll move younger. We have Philo and Sophie. We've never targeted 4th, 5th, 6th graders.
Yeah, so the tweenagers. Yeah,
yes, the tweens. And I can't let your listeners know everything, but we have an awesome series we've been filming. We have our own film studio, and we've been filming it. It's going to combine live actors and animation in a surreal world where they're working through moral issues and ethical dilemmas. And it's a lot of fun. It's aimed, like I said, at 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and all the content builds pro-life, pro-life ethics and values in kids, but in ways that don't directly discuss abortion yet. Or assisted suicide. Yeah, we didn't want to, kind of violate their innocence. But I think parents are going to love it. It's highly useful for teachers in the classroom, and that'll be coming out at the end of this year.
Oh, wonderful! That's good. That age group is lacking not just in pro-life resources, but just Catholic in general media resources.
They're kind of the missing group.
Yeah,
People
it is.
aim at the littles, they aim at the high school, college, but those 4 through 6, 7, 8 grade get lost. Yeah, middle
school. Anyway, so that's good. Okay, good news. Thank you. Always exciting to hear from you and to hear about the work you're doing as we go next week here in Canada towards the March for Life in Ottawa.
Yes.
So thank you for telling us about this today, Camille, and again for all the great work that you do.
You got it. Blessings on your march and safety for everybody. And people can find everything at healingtheculture.org.
You can learn more about Healing the Culture, Respect Life University, and Forbidden Discussions at their website, healingtheculture.org. And to listen to this conversation again or the full program, go to slmedia.org. Here now is Found Together with Find Me from their album Found Together.
I waited till we almost said goodnight. This heavy weight I carried all my life, and I would never lie to you, but I couldn't give you the whole truth. Here it is, such a mess, I know. Tears and late hours, you give me your attention. You didn't walk, though no one would blame you. You shoulder me, you follow me, you want this. Whisper to me, just let me love you more. When you search for me, I just need to turn around. No use in hiding. I am already found. You're still in love with who you see. Wherever I go, you find me. Whoa, should've known it's good to let you find me. You see the shine over the shards. Instead of attacking me, you attack the demons for who they are. You see my scars for all the battles won. When you search for me, I just need to turn around. No use in hiding. I am already found. You're still in love with who you see. Wherever I go, you find me. Been beside me through it all. This is my way, but you choose to share the fall.
We're listening to Found Together with Find Me from their album Found Together. We first met husband and wife duo Jesse and Kathleen Leblanc in October 2021, and that's when we found out why they call themselves Found Together. Over the last couple of years, Jesse and Kathleen have been busy building their marriage and family, but also with a few new songs. They also are quite active online with monthly live worship sessions on social media and also monthly what they call Catholic Date Night. So, to tell us all about that, I am now joined by Jesse and Kathleen Leblanc. Welcome back to the Salt and Light Hour, you guys. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for having us.
So much
And it
for
was
having us.
super
Good to be
fun.
back.
Yeah, it was super fun to see you in person in November at Renew.
That's right. That was fun.
See, Jesse
It was a
already
really cool
forgot.
event. Yeah, he's like, did I see?
Yeah,
Did
it's
I
like,
go somewhere?
Is that who you were? You got
You're
out of the
renewing my
house.
memory right now.
Yeah, you got out of the house. Yeah, it was a great event. So, and congratulations on baby number 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you. Born
you.
a couple months ago as we record. Yeah.
Yes,
He's good.
very-
We'll keep him.
You'll keep him? Okay, good. And
Yeah.
he seems to be, at least for now, very musical.
Yes.
At least for now.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't
Until
have any
maybe he'll
options.
get irritated eventually.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, I want to talk first about the music, because we're going to be ending the show with a great song that you guys wrote called Permission. So I want to get a little bit of the story of that. But I understand that you're also hoping to have a new EP. So I'm just curious to know if you are constantly, I mean, I know that you just had a baby and you guys are busy with other important things, but are you constantly writing or how is that process for you?
Ever since we, since our first album and started singing together under the name Found Together, our plan and our process is setting aside Tuesday nights for music. So since we've launched this new crowdfunding for this new worship EP, Tuesday nights are again our music night to either write or just like to pray about writing or just talk about it together, how that process is going. So that's what it's like for us, because unless it's on the calendar, things like that don't happen. We're both, neither of us really are the kind of people that are like, oh, I'm so inspired, I have to sit down and write. Like, that's just not
No, it's not your
the
thing.
gift that God has given us in that way. It's like, we need to
so
like sit down and make time.
how's it going? Are you just talking about it, or is it? It's lots of great prayer.
we've got a lot of audio recordings that some of them are really going somewhere.
Like little voice memos.
Yeah, voice memos and that kind of thing. And so for me, a lot of the time I'll write in the car as well. And so like on my way to work or on my way back, just kind of running through a few like ideas and then bring them to Tuesday night.
Okay, sounds good. So you're crowdfunding, so people through your website can get access to learn about that if they want to support you. Tell me about Permission.
Well, that was a song that was commissioned by...
Here comes James.
Oh, here comes our baby. He's coming to join this call. And
Hello,
but this is James, if you'd like to see. Oh, okay.
Okay, there's James.
Permission was commissioned by Kathleen's father, actually. He was doing a documentary.
Is doing a documentary.
It has yet to be released on the late Father Bob Bedard, who was the founder of Companions of the Cross in Ottawa. And his whole, I guess you could say his slogan was "Give God Permission." He was a very, very holy priest.
Yes.
And so yeah, he gave us some ideas and some things that he wanted us to include in the song, and we set out to write it. And so it was a fun process.
It is.
Yeah, there was a fun music video as well that we were able to record a music video of kind of like us with a bunch of other young adults in adoration, basically, with the monstrance and this priest and incense. It was a really beautiful video.
In his parish.
In Father Bob's previous parish, yeah.
Yeah, if our listeners do not know about Father Bob Bedard or of the Companions of the Cross, maybe we're just putting a little, seed in your heart here. Check him out. The man absolutely will one day be canonized. And I'm really excited, looking forward to that film. So we just plugged in the film that I think is titled also Permission, or that's the working title.
Yes.
And the song, we'll get to hear the song at the end of the program today. So super excited about that. And we'll post the video as well on our website so people can watch it. Tell me about the monthly worship nights. So you have Tuesday nights set aside for writing, and then you have one night a month to do worship. So how can people join into that?
Yeah, so we do that from Facebook or Instagram Live. So at We Are Found Together is both those handles. We started doing live worship nights actually before it was cool online.
Oh, okay.
It was like right before COVID started. We were like, so we're in this season right now, as you said, that we've got kids. It's not as easy for us to leave the house and like do in-person events. And so we were like, how do we minister to people? How do we use our gifts of music, but we can be at home? So we were like, can we do this online? Like have people just listen in? Like it's not the same as being in person, but we could do it,
Wow.
So we started doing them just before COVID hit. I think it was January of that year. And then we continued them through COVID. We took a break for a while. I don't remember when we stopped but when we wanted to crowdfund and create some hype around that and let people know what we're doing, what we sound like, and pray with people, we were like, let's do our live worship nights again. And so we do that once a month. And like people are able to tune in. We just play about 4 songs. Like it's not a long thing. But it's just people in their comfort of their home. Like someone messaged me yesterday. We had a live worship night last night, and she messaged us this morning saying, I was so glad that I tuned in while I was like cleaning up the kitchen after supper and prayed with you. And
wonderful.
Yeah, so people can just tune in from wherever, and it's nice for us to be able to still offer that music ministry just from home while our kids are sleeping upstairs.
Absolutely. And what a grace, I guess, the Holy Spirit calling you to start that even before it was necessary during COVID. So it's once a month. Is it always on a Tuesday night?
It's not always on a Tuesday night. So it's often,
okay,
you know what? It would be nice if we had a regular month, but with kids and whatever's going on, we just, so if people want to know when it is, it's usually later in the month. Yeah. So just, follow us, or you can join our email list from our Instagram or from our website. And we send out the details of when it is, because it's nice to change the date to change it for when people are available.
For people who are not available on a Tuesday night. So does the Catholic date night is the same idea?
So the Catholic date night is a bit different. So what we do is we record a date night. It's really geared towards busy couples like ourselves. We interview another couple. I'm really stumbling right now.
It's okay. So it's a membership for Catholic married couples or engaged couples. That's okay.
Yeah.
And so we send out a date night episode, we call it, every single month. And we host, basically, as you press play, we host the couples through a game, like an activity to get them laughing and talking. And then we have a pre-recorded interview with another married couple. And we talk to them about their marriage journey and like what highs and lows, maybe a specific season of their marriage. And then we give the couples who are watching a chance to discuss what they heard in the interview. We give discussion questions, and then it ends with a time of prayer. So we give the couples basically like a format of how to pray together.
Okay.
So we started this for couples like ourselves who were, wanting to have more quality time together, but like life is so busy and like who has time to plan a date night? It's at home, so you don't have to go anywhere to have this date night because getting babysitters is hard. And then also to be able to challenge yourselves to actually grow in your faith and what it means to have the married vocation. Because there's, not a lot of resources out there for couples who aren't like on the brink of divorce. Like there's a lot of great resources for couples who are really struggling, which is awesome. But we knew that there was a gap in terms of supporting couples who, maybe they're just married in their first, few years of marriage, who want to have a strong foundation and keep that strong foundation of communication and faith and prayer, but like don't know how to do it together. So we love our couples who are joining us because they just really are intentional about their marriage vocation. Like marriage it takes that intentionality, right? To have fun together, to communicate, to learn about your faith. And so that's what we do with the Catholic Date Night.
Okay, so a couple questions. So it's subscription based. People subscribe to join to have access to these videos. The videos are pre-recorded, so it's not live, so they can do it whenever they want.
Right.
Do they have to be married?
Yeah. Well, so they're engaged or married couples. I guess you could sign up unknowingly, be single, but we gear towards couples.
Couples that are just engaged. No, I'm just wondering if someone that's dating, if this would be useful for them. But the topics are very more specific to couples that are married.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. There's a whole range of topics. Like we've talked about NFP, for example. We've talked about what do you do when you're married to somebody who's your personality opposite. We've had topics on sex itself. So it's a whole range of things from like fun to serious. And a whole range
was our latest.
Yeah, we had one on Jonathan and Amanda Texera who do Wallet Win. We had them on, and they talked about their Catholic money budgeting resources, and so different.
Okay, interesting.
Topics.
Okay, sounds great. So people again can find about that at your website, foundtogether.com.
They can, yeah.
Okay, super.
We are foundtogether.com. Yeah.
Sorry, did I say the wrong website?
It's all right.
We are foundtogether.com. Okay. Thank you so much for that. I'm really excited. It's always nice to see you guys and to have you on the show. So I'm looking forward to the new album so that you can start writing some music and start recording so we can get to play it on the show.
That'd be awesome.
Us too.
Thanks, Deacon Pedro.
Yeah, all right. God bless. Take care. And thank you to James for participating.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
You too.
You too.
You can find Jesse and Kathleen Leblanc and learn all about what they do at their website, wearefoundtogether.com. And to listen to our conversation again or to the full program, go to our website, slmedia.org. Here now to take us out is Found Together with Permission.
You're moving in closer. I'm ready to give all to you, all to you. The more that I give you, the more that I want to. Your way makes me whole. As your plan unfolds, I give you permission. I give you permission. You're moving in closer. To give all to you, all to you. The more that I give you, the more that I want to. Your way makes me whole. As your plan unfolds, I give you permission. Yeah, I give you permission.
We're listening to Found Together with their single, Permission, written for the film on the life of Father Bob Bedard of the Companions of the Cross. And that concludes this special edition of the Salt and Light Hour. Remember to visit our website, slmedia.org. That's where you can listen to all our programs, and not just podcasts. There's lots of content there, videos, and our blog, which includes my column, Deconstructing. That's also where you can find everything you want about Salt and Light Media and how you can support our ministry, because we cannot do this program without your financial support. So go to slmedia.org. If you have any comments or questions, send them to me via email, pedro@slmedia.org, or you can find me on your social media. Thank you for being with us today. I'm Deacon Pedro.